Alright guys and gals, this is a long playing review for Head Over Heels on the Amstrad CPC, released by Ocean Software in 1987. And this is one of the most highest rated and beloved Amstrad CPC games of all time. And universally loved across all systems it appeared on, not just the Amstrad CPC, because for most people it's the pinnacle of the isometric adventuring genre, and probably, arguably, the end of it too. There just wasn't any point anyone else trying to make a game after it, you just weren't going to better it. It's also one of the most requested games for me to long play on the channel, and this month of December 2022 I hadn't decided which game to cover, and I threw it open to Patreons and members of the Am Squad to suggest games, and this was the winner as suggested by Dave Velociraptor. So well done Velo. So if you're watching this video as it goes out, this is my Christmas present to you all, and Merry Christmas. Anyway, so this game stars two characters, Head and Heels. And Head and Heels are partners. In fact, they are two spies from a nearby star system trying to overthrow the evil Blacktooth from his empire. But unfortunately for them, they've been caught and imprisoned, so the first task is to escape. Then we're off to steal the crowns from the first 5 worlds in the Blacktooth Empire that will kick off a revolution, and then we have to escape to freedom. Now Head can jump really high, and with his little wings attached to his arms can float, but on the ground moves really slowly. Now Heels runs around really quickly but can't jump very high. However, combine both Head and Heels together to make Head Over Heels, and you have the best of both their abilities in one. But the game is sneaky and puts things in place stopping you from just running through the entire game with them both combined. You'll see. Oh yeah, and if Head gets the hooter and donuts, he can shoot things, and if Heels gets the bag, he can pick up things too. Anyway, let's get the game up and running, and let's just get rolling with things. But yeah, I thought it was important I start off by telling you about the core key game mechanics of the two characters there, and how they interact with each other. More on that in a little bit, but let's have a look at the beautiful loading screen you're about to see. Here it is in all its Modernaught glory. Isn't that gorgeous? From FD Thorpe there. One of the best loading screens on the Amstrad. I'm sure you'll agree. One of my favourites there of all time. Disappears all too quickly on the disc load, sadly. Here we are on the title screen. Credits there for John Rittman and Bernie Drummond. We'll talk more about that Dream Team later. We're going to have a look at the options for just very quickly here, especially the keys here. Note we've got keys for jumping, carrying objects, firing, which only Head can do, and swap. That is to swap between the two characters. 3 different keys for one of the for a couple of the options there. No, pay attention for that there. We can adjust the sound and how much sound comes out. We're going to have lots of it. Although to be honest, there's not a great deal of it in the game. And control sensitivity. We're going to have low sensitivity. The manual says more experienced players will want to use high sensitivity, but nah, stick with low sensitivity. And let's kick things off the game. Here we go. Nice tune here. So we've got 5 crowns to steal or rescue or take from 4 different planets: Egyptus, Penitentiary, Safari, Bookworld, and eventually Blacktooth. We'll do that last. You've got to get the 4 other crowns first before you can enter the final room in the Blacktooth. And here we are. We start off as Head, and we have to get used to mastering the jump controls there. Climb up there to get the first bunny, which gives us 2 extra bonus lives. And we use our first teleporter. And there you go, we teleport through there. And we're off on our first mission here. So, First thing I'll say here is I'm using a walkthrough guide taken from the Spectrum Computing website and written by a guy called Philip Kendall. So I've got to give credit where credit is due here. I'm not an experienced head over heels player. I literally have come into head over heels pretty cold and a newbie. Hit a switch here to deactivate the robot in the middle of the room to stop it being a pest. To make it a little bit easier to get to these donuts in the far corner. We can't use the donuts yet. We have to pick up a hooter. You can see the donut icon now lit up sort of bottom left corner with a 6 above it. We now got to pick up the hooter, which is just below the donut icon. Very careful to jump over these, call them the toasters. They will unfortunately lose a life if we touch them. If we pick up the hooter, we can now fire donuts with the fire key. Only head can fire donuts. If we hit a moving enemy, it will disable the enemy and freeze it in position. There's the hooter. Now, these blocks will disappear in the middle of the room when we land on them. So we've got to turn our direction as we land to then jump. And we now have the hooter. We're going to save the donuts for later on. We're going to save as many donuts as we can for later. We're going to keep them and use them sparingly. And we're going to sit on the spring here. I'm going to swap over to heels. Now, heels can't jump very highly, but he can move really quickly. He's going to escape from his prison cell. And we're going to push this spring over to the doorway and jump on the spring to bounce out. And he's going to use this lift here to escape. And watch out here not to be pushed off this conveyor belt. Now, there's a fish there. Make sure the fish is alive and wiggling. Don't pick up a dead fish. That would be very, very bad. And this is one of the first puzzle rooms, really. You've got a joystick there to move the Dalek Prince Charles. I'm not sure that it's meant to be Prince Charles, but kind of everyone calls it the Prince Charles because the big wiggly ears. It kind of looks like Prince Charles. So you use the joystick to move the Prince Charles Dalek, to move that block over there. And then move the Prince Charles Dalek just about there. And then you can jump onto the block, onto the Prince Charles. Then onto the conveyor belt to pick up the bag. And now Head has the bag. And now that means Head can now pick up objects in his bag and carry them. So now you completed the first, basically main task of the game. So now Head now has his main object, which is the bag. Heels now has the bag, which is his main object, and he can now pick up other objects like the drum there, to bounce, so he can now climb out of there. Oh, sorry, watch out for this thing here. So you want to lead it over to the edge of the room there, and then draw it back over. And just move left and right, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then quickly move over. Oh no! If that happens, then lead them over to the edge of the room there. To the west. And just dash back over if you miss the lift. And of course, and Head now has his hooter and his donut. So you've completed the first sort of main task of the game. And now we want to try and bring them together. So cool. So we also picked up a fish there. The fish is now, it acts like a respawn point. So if you die and lose all your lives, the fish acts like a respawn point, and you will respawn. It's like a continue, basically. There's a bunny there, but the that bubbling creature there gets stuck on the bunny. So just leave it stuck on the bunny there, and you can get on the lift and escape that room there. So we'll just leave the bunny there. Not necessary. We get plenty of lives in the game. I'm going to try and do this playthrough without losing a life. So, top tip there, go right to the edge of that platform before jumping on the spring. And you basically just jump over the next spring and onto the next platform. It's all going rather quickly here. So, okay, with this ball, you're going to just push this ball and to knock the switch. Wait until this one hits the edge of the wall and moves away a little bit. Then push it. Hopefully, if you time it right, you'll have enough gap to get through. Ooh, may not get the timing just right, but got just enough to squeeze through past those 3 robots. Wow. So here you want to move to the far right and far right edge as you can before dropping off, and hopefully you should land on a block below and not get hit by the robot. There you go. You should be safe. And what you're going to do is build up a platform to the door on the west door there. An escape there. Right, so yeah, I'm going to try and talk you through as many of these rooms as I can. I mean, I've got a lot of other things I can talk about, like the making of the game and stuff, but this commentary is going to be a little bit haphazard at times because I want to try and talk to you about puzzle solving and all that kind of stuff as best I can. So this commentary is going to be a little bit all over the place because I feel like this is I want to try and be a bit more of a walkthrough guide as best I can and talk you through anything that might be interesting and how you beat the game. I think this would be more helpful to people than me just I don't know, yeah, yammering on about other versions of the game for about half an hour or whatever. Yeah, push the spring there to block the robot, and off we go. Oh, we just arrived in the market. How much is that doggy in the window jingle there? And we'll just swap back over to head here. And we can get the fish then. Right, I'm just having a look to see where I am in my walkthrough guide. Yeah, just careful jumping over those blocks. Oh yeah, interesting corridor here. Because both, yeah, Head will be walking. Sorry, Heels will be walking under that. Oh, watch out! These blocks will disintegrate. You can tell that, like, the programmer would have put that in as a disintegrating block. Ah, yes, one of these blocks in the middle will disappear when you jump at it. It's always worth having a little explore and having a little jump around. You never know what might disappear. Oh, picked up a bunny there. See, sometimes the bunnies don't always just give you bonus life. Sometimes they give you power-ups. As you can see, a lightning bolt symbol there has appeared. And as you move, it counts down. So now we've got a speed-up power-up. And sometimes the power-up might be a protection power-up, where you're protected from any damage. Oh, there's another bunny there, but that's a very difficult jump to get. So I think I ignore the risk of trying to jump over those mines to get that bunny. Yeah, I'll leave that one there. So that's the only. I think that's the only bunny I ignore getting, actually. Right. Okay. It's just like then this is just quite simple of like moving the blocks into place, and then yeah, using it to get out the door there. Right. This would be a good opportunity to give you the full story, given in the manual for the game. Before things get too complicated with the puzzles, maybe. Or are we about to join up forces with head and heels? Oh, a little fish to get. Okay, let's give you the backstory to the game from the manual. So the history of the Blacktooth Empire. Quickly then, far away from our star sol lies the Blacktooth Empire, an evil empire. 4 worlds enslaved by the planet Blacktooth. All of the slave worlds bubble with unrest, but due to the oppressive nature of their rulers, they never reach boiling point. They all lack a leader to draw the masses of population together. Blacktooth itself is not any better. A world originally controlled by its dynastic leaders for so long that the populace do not even think about revolution. The peoples of the neighbouring stars are getting very worried about signs of military expansion from Blacktooth and have sent a spy from the planet Freedom to see if he can push the slave planets into full rebellion. Oh god, we're about to join together. We're about to join head and heels together. Oh man. I was about halfway through the story. So here we are, head and heels have been joined together for the first time. So you just got them lined up in the right place. And now we have joined forces and we now have both the speed and the jumping abilities joined together. Yay! And we get the bonus lives there from the bunny. Both of them get the lives, I think. And we can pick up, so we got Heels' bag we can use together. Ah, yes. And now we've got to like work together to basically now we've got to split up actually for the first time though, and use the joysticks to yes, move Charles the robot to get both of us across. Yeah. So where was I in the story then? Does anybody care? Where were we? The peoples of the neighbouring stars are getting very worried about signs of military expansion from Blacktooth and have sent a spy from the planet Freedom to see if he can push the slave planets into full rebellion by finding the crowns lost when Blacktooth took over. The creatures of freedom are very strange in that they are formed from a pair of symbolic animals that have adapted to operate either independently or to their mutual advantage, joined together as one. Head saddled on heels, and indeed these are their names, and both are highly trained spies. There you go. Right. And it carries on. The game. Head and Heels have both been captured, separated and imprisoned in their castle headquarters of Blacktooth. Their cells contain keep-fit equipment, including a wall ladder that Head really must learn to climb. We saw that at the start of the game. Your job is to get them both out of the castle and into the marketplace, which we just did. So they can join up again, which we just did. From there, the journey leads to Moonbase headquarters, where you will have to decide either to try to escape back to freedom, or to be a true hero and teleport to one of the slave planets to search for its lost crown. To overthrow the dictatorship on any of the slave planets would be a major blow to Blacktooth, and you could return to freedom in glory. Of course, Blacktooth would probably enslave them again eventually, but it would slow down any expansion plans for now. The populace of Blacktooth are so heavily oppressed that they would have to see all 4 of the slave planets revolt before Blacktooth crown could cause an uprising. This, of course, would be the ultimate accolade, and unfortunately, almost certain suicide. Okay, well, that's the full story from the manual. John Rittman, the programmer, has since admitted that the story and plot was bullshit that he wrote on the last day, to quote him, just to tie together everything they had made and to make sense of it all. So, yeah, a very last-minute job on the story. So, yeah, we had to separate there so we could get each other through. So, the game is already teasing us here that you can't just run through the entire game as Head and Heels combined. It's already showing us that, hang on, lads and lasses, You're not going to be just able to run through the entire game combined together. You're going to have to start splitting up and get independent of each other. It's given us early warning signs. It gives a little bit of a backstory on each of the two characters. We're already going to split up here, by the way. You see these little creatures at the end of the corridor here? They're called hush puppies, right? And if Head goes in the room, they disappear and blow up. They're scared of Head, but they're not scared of Heels. You will see that later in the game when we go into a room as Head. But as Heels, this character, they stay in the room. That's one of the ways the game stops you staying together. So that's why we split up here. Anyway. But he describes Head as Headers Malthian. That's his full name. Head is a symbiotic partner to Heels. I'm quoting from the manual here. And will normally be found sitting on top of one. Head is descended from a breed of flying reptile and still has rudimentary wings that allow Head up to twice his own height and to guide himself through the air. Now Heels, as we're playing right now, is Futus Undarium. And during Heels' evolution, the arms have totally disappeared while the legs have become very powerful. Heels can jump his own height and can also run very fast. And that is the description from Heels from the manual. Now let's talk about credits here. Now it's a dream double team of coding duties of John Rittman and the graphics by Bernie Drummond. Now they of course did the excellent Batman for Ocean Software the year previous in 1986, which is also a very similar isometric adventure of which Head Over Heels builds and expands on. Batman was also a huge hit for Ocean at the time. Another big hit of theirs was, of course, Match Day and Match Day 2. The first game they didn't port to the Amstrad. That was done by another team and it wasn't particularly good. So they handled the sequel, Match Day 2, by themselves when it came to the Amstrad version. And that was as good, if not arguably better than the Specky original. But anyway, but I believe after Head Over Heels and Match Day 2, John Rittman went on to try and develop a couple more footy games. One called Final Whistle for arcades, but was cancelled for being too similar to Match Day 2, and Soccerama for the NES, which was canned because it didn't pass Nintendo's quality control, or is that their seal of approval, due to bugs. I'm not sure how true that is because this is from his Wikipedia page. John Rittman's next game is the excellent Monster Max for the Game Boy in 1994, which is the next evolution from Head Over Heels and is highly recommended. I absolutely loved Monster Max on the Game Boy. John's last credited game is Super Match Soccer from 1998, which was originally intended to be Match Day 3. But couldn't secure that title for legal reasons. And it appears to be a bit of a flop, and reviews from the time appear to be rather poor, unfortunately. But never mind. There you go. Now, Bernie Drummond, aside from Batman, Match Day 1 and 2, and Monster Max, the only other game I can find he's credited for doing art on is Superhero for Codemasters in 1987, and which is a shame really, because obviously he's an incredibly talented pixel artist. The graphics here are fantastic. What a fantastic imagination and talent he's got here. It's quite surreal, and what an imagination he has, and yeah, what a brilliant talent. It's a further shame because unfortunately Bernie sadly passed away in 2021, unfortunately, which is terrible news really. But yeah, it's also sad we didn't see many more games from John Rittman really. Another brilliant talent. Yeah, we only really got a few games from John Rittman. There you go. Sometimes that's how the industry works and goes. I'm not really sure what John Rittman is up to these days. I hope he's doing well. I'm sure he's found another industry to work in or whatever. I'm sure he's a very talented man, and I'm sure he's put his skills to good use somewhere else. But yeah, sometimes that's how the industry works. Yeah, obviously he tried his luck in. He went towards sort of football games by the look of it. Obviously he saw great success with Match Day 2, and tried to replicate it in a few more footy games and stuff like that. But obviously maybe the move to 3D wasn't really his thing. Oh my goodness, this room. Oh, and I kind of screwed up here by the messing up on the block disappearing there. So what you got to do is you got to pick up a block, but also knock the other block onto the top of the, I call it the robot dog here. And then you've got to stand on a block 4 blocks down from the top edge of the room. And then you got to do a move where you jump and pick up a block at the same time. So you use the space bar for that. So there's a special button press which does a jump and pick up at the same time. So it's a jump and pick up of a block at the same time. And so you ready? You jump and pick up and then jump. Do you see that? This is one of the more frustrating puzzles to work out. Probably the first complex puzzle to figure out for the first time, which made troublesome players for the first, because you need that block then to jump out of the room. So you need to have remembered there's a button that jumps and picks up at the same time. So there's a button to just jump, there's a button just to pick up, but there's a button that jumps and picks up at the same time. So that's important to remember, guys. Okay, so there's a button to jump, there's a button to pick up, but there's also a button that jumps and picks up at the same time. All right, okay, you got that? Most people don't realise there is, so it's important to read the effing manual. RTFM, read the effing manual. So sometimes if you go into a game cold and not understand what's going on, and now you get through puzzles, that's that's where you come unstuck. So I think we're in the so I've kind of got lost now talking about credits to the game and stuff. I think we're in the penitentiary planet at the moment. Right, I might be wrong. Yeah, we are. We're in the penitentiary planet. Yeah, we're in the penitentiary planet. Oh, there's a dead fish there. You don't want to pick up that dead fish in that corner there. Right, anyway. Alright, okay. Hares can jump on those blocks there and sort of jump around the top to get to the west exit. And I'm mucking up my jump there. I sometimes get that wrong. You have to sort of jump and loop around. See, I'm getting it wrong there. I'm still a bit of a newbie to this game, so if there's experienced head over heels players watching, I do apologise. I'm still pretty fresh to the game, and I've not had a huge amount of time to practice. Oh, right, okay. So we've got to hit the switch and jump on the sandwich. And we should be able to just jump off at the exit. And some awkward jumping here with some spikes we might end up landing on. And some difficult jumps here. And I think we'll have some blocks that disintegrate here. So we've got to be careful. I think it's the last one of these. I think that second to last block will disintegrate. So be prepared for that. Yeah, there you go. Alright, just careful timing here on this one. So... Okay. So John Rittman has said that like Night Law was the big inspiration for John for Batman, and then of course Head Over Heels. He said that it was just what I'd always wanted, a Disney film that you could control. When he saw Night Law, as he told Retro Gamer magazine, a Disney film that you could control. Wow. Imagine thinking that when you saw a video game, right? A Disney film that you could control. Simpler times back then, eh? And John, I think he said in the same article, Retro Gamer magazine, that he admitted that much of Head Over Heels he made up as he went along, and he just kept adding stuff until the memory was full. It's amazing to think that, like, so much of these amazing puzzles in the game, he kind of made up as he went along. They're so cleverly designed. He must have thought that, like, he must have had, like, pages and pages of design documents. Because to go wrong and screw up and find, like, players getting soft-locked or something, it would have been so easy to have done that. And to make a mistake like that. But no, I don't think I've come across a situation in the game where I've got soft locked. I don't know if any experienced Head Over Heels players have come across a situation where that's happened, where they've got like soft locked and like, you can't progress any further. I don't know. Picked up some more donuts there. Nice. Where you've come across a situation where you can't go any further because there's like some game logic that's got broken, where you got stuck. I don't know. Certainly, I've not come across a situation like that yet. But that it's an incredible feat of game programming and design. But according to John, it was all sort of just made up on the spot as he went along. But he must have been play tested and then, like, you know, sorted. I mean, it's just incredible stuff, really. A little bit of a tricky section here. You need to pick up the drum. Oops. Joining together quickly, very quickly. I nearly screwed up here. I wonder if I was going to knock the dog off there. But no, he just gets pushed to the side a little bit and then it carries on. I mean, how did that not screw up completely there? Knock the dog off and make the game go completely loopy and break? I mean, any other lesser game, it would have completely cocked up everything. But no, the game just works. I've not come across any real serious bugs in this game. And things going completely loopy and broken. Again, another brilliant puzzle worked out well here. I think this is known as the pit, this area. And you don't want to fall in. Careful here, blocks disintegrate. The bunny there gets us bonus lives. Disintegrating blocks, watch out. Yeah, this is the pit, as it's known as. Don't fall in. It's not the end of the world if you do fall in. It's just very, very. It's just a pain in the arse. Notice how I'm right on the very right edge of the platform. It's because we want to be aligned to the centre of the door. Did you notice that? How I was on the right hand edge? Anyway, if you spotted that. Timing there to jump from the centre there. Horrible jump here. Just got to get the timing just right. And we're going to split up here. And we're going to take heels through and leave head here. I mentioned earlier about Monster Max on the Game Boy. It's kind of like the last game that John Rittman and Bernie Drummond did together. That was released in 1994 on the Game Boy. I think it was like actually put out by Titus Software or Titus, whatever. I think I actually had that on the Game Boy, and it got really good reviews at the time. I don't know if it sold very well or not. And it's a bit more of a linear approach to the game. You didn't need to make maps of the game anyway. And I really loved and enjoyed that game. It was still bloody tough. And I'd recommend that one to anyone wanting to get into these type of games. Start with that one first if you're a newbie and you want to explore these kind of isometric adventure type action games. Oh, there's the first crown. Right, leave heels there. We'll come back to this in a second. But yeah, Monster Max on the Game Boy, really, really good game. And if you want an introduction to these isometric adventure games, start with Monster Max on the Game Boy. That'll be my recommendation. That will give you a good introduction to puzzling and platforming and all that kind of stuff. Those drums are deadly. The drums are not deadly earlier in the game, but they are now, which is a little bit unkind and a bit unfair. They weren't lethal before, but they are now. It's just a bit near. But Monster Max on the Game Boy, it starts you off very, very gently because, you know, Game Boy games are designed for like younger audiences generally and more casual gamers. So the game had to be tweaked to that kind of audience. Oh, I had to wait ages here for this robot to move. Sorry about this. So yeah, Monster Max on the Game Boy, highly recommended. Last Bernie Drummond and John Rittman game working together. A great game to finish on together, actually, really. So highly recommended that. Right, sorry, just try and wait for this robot to go over there. So I'm just trying to see if it will lure. If I move over to the west side of the screen here, it might lure it over. Come on, we're gonna have to jump over those drums and fall down and get through the the door at the south there. All right, it's finally moving over. Come on. There it goes. There it goes. Here we go. What a beautiful looking screen that is as well. And here we are on the first crown. Got a bit of a puzzle on how to get this one. What you want to do is push the sandwich and drop it onto the head of head. And then drop on and then get heels onto the top of the sandwich. Don't cock this up because we have to get heels all the way around to the top again and reset, which will be an absolute pain in the arse to do. We're going to get heels to pick up the block there and go back on the sandwich. And then we got a bit of there's a few ways you can do this. I kind of do this a bit awkwardly here. So we just get the sandwich over here. And even I get a bit confused and forget how you do this, but yeah, we get head up here, sorry, heels up here, with the block. And actually, I kind of forget how I do this now. God, my memory's a bit crap now. Oh, yeah, I jump and push the sandwich on there. Then what do I do? I actually forgot. Oh, yeah, I can now... Ah, right. With that there, I can now get... Should be able to get... head up there. And get head on top of heels. There you go. Ah. And now we can get the crown. I'll see if I was just seeing if I could get them joined together to get both of them to the crown. Actually, it's pointless. Wasting time there. Just get head to the crown, and here we go. Ready? Yay! And that's the first crown from the penitentiary. Hurrah! Love that jingle of music. So we need to get out of here, and we're going to find a teleporter, and then use the teleporters at the moon base. It's like the central hub between all the different worlds. And I think we'll next go to like the safari world. Oh, there's a teleporter. Always a handy teleporter right near the crown. And there should be another one nearby, right nearby. There you go. Okay, we should be now at the moon base. And yeah, we're going to go to the safari world now. Okay, I think I'll use this opportunity now to talk about the other versions of Head Over Heels. And I think we'll go Safari World. And different jingle of music. Very sort of African jungly music sounding jingle there. This one, just observe where the sandwich goes. Be very observant. And you have to jump on it, then jump off it, then jump on it again here, okay? Anyway, yeah, so let's talk about the other versions of the game. And we'll start with the original, the first, the ZX Spectrum. And yes, and the original and the standard to judge all against. And we have monochrome 2-colour graphics. Beeper music and sound effects on the 48K Spectrum, but if you have 128K, it has the same sound effects and music jingles that you've heard on the Amstrad version. There's no discernible differences in speed and responsiveness I've noticed between the Amstrad and Specky versions. And often with ports between the two machines, you'll find that the Amstrad version has a smaller screen size, it plays slower, and has less colours. And here we have almost the opposite. And now, firstly, I believe the Amstrad screen size is only a tiny bit smaller, but we're talking minuscule amounts. Now, I've already mentioned the speed. I can't tell any difference. And lastly, the colours. This time the Amstrad has more colours. I mean, beautiful use of Amstrad's Mode 1 colour palette. Probably one of the best uses of it we've seen on the CPC thanks to Bjarne Drummond. Does this put it ahead of the Specky version? You decide in the comments. I mean, otherwise, the Amstrad and Specky versions play identically to each other. That's testament to like John Rittman's excellent coding and optimization skills. Just an amazing job that John Rittman has done, and an amazing job that Bjarne Drummond has done. Wow. But shall we just say the Amstrad and Specky versions stand shoulder to shoulder equal to each other just to keep everyone happy? But my god, the Amstrad version does look glorious. I don't know. Oh, we've got the bunny here that protects us, gives us like makes us invulnerable here, so we're just going to leg it as quick as we can here. So look at that, just run. You can even stand on the mines here. There you go, job done. Alright, I think I'm going to say it. I think the Amstrad version's better. I'm going to upset a lot of Specky fans, but okay. Let's move on. Commodore 64 version. Has the monochrome graphics of the Specky version, but has much improved sound effects and some extra jingles on the SID chip, which may have pushed it towards being the better version, but it plays slightly sluggishly, which is more noticeable when there's several sprites and objects on the screen. Of the 8-bit versions, it may sound the best, but it doesn't play the best, and it doesn't look the best. That honour goes to the CPC. So it's a decent version of Head Over Heels, but gameplay wise and in terms of responsiveness and stuff, it isn't the best. But still very, very good version. But I think the Amstrad and Specky versions play better. But it has the best sound effects and jingles, potentially. So, next up, the MSX. And it's clearly a port of the ZX Spectrum version, but actually a really decent one for once to the MSX. Plays really well, pretty responsive, and you can't really fault it at all, really, that much. Just that the colours on the MSX aren't really quite as bold as the Specky's, being a little bit more sort of pastely. And it feels like the screen vertically has been slightly squished a little bit. I don't know. So not as good as the Specky, but like a fairly decent port actually for once. Moving on to the Atari 8-bit. Graphics are monochrome, 2 colours, but there are palette colour changes for each screen. Lots of noises and sound effects clashing over each other, making quite a cacophony at times, which could be quite grating. I think John Rittman on his versions knows about the sound drivers and when to sort of stop and start sound effects so they're not sort of overlapping and clashing into each other. It's hard to describe. You just have to sort of hear it. It's not a bad conversion on the Atari like 800. I'm playing the Atari 800 XL version here. It plays okay, but it's kind of one of the weaker ones. Okay, moving on to the 16-bits. Oh, actually, no. Let's go to the Amstrad PCW first, actually, which is, Amstrad PCW is designed to be a bloody word processor. Brilliant conversion. It plays just like the Amstrad port, but just in green and black. The PCW by default has a little beeper that produces a one-note beep for sounds, but if you have a DK-Tronics expansion for joystick and sound, you get the full soundtrack of musical ditties and sound effects that you hear in the CPC version. So quite a surprising conversion, surprising that it ended up on the PCW, and it's a pretty good version. There you go. Now 16 bits. Atari ST, and it's pretty much the same as the CPC and Specky version, just with more colours, but the sounds have been changed. Oh, actually, guys, before we just talk more about this is a very tricky section, trying to jump over the ball there. That is a very, very tricky jump. You've got to push this ball around. Quite hard to sort of work it out there. Very slight movements there. You're going to then jump onto this wall. That was a tough one to work out. And a very, very tight jump. And also you got like lightning fast movement as well, because you picked up that bunny. Thankfully though, you get bonus lives to make up for the lives you probably would have lost there. That was a horrible section. That was absolutely horrible. Atari ST, anyway. But yeah, the sounds have been changed in the ST. The musical ditties have been changed and mostly removed. and it's lost a lot of its charm because of that. As such, it feels a lot more hollow and barren, a lot less joyful playing experience. Don't pick up the dead fish there, by the way. It's weird how the loss of a few seconds of inconsequential music can make a difference. But hey, it's still head over heels. It's a great game, but I didn't like this. It's weird having a lot of the sounds and the music missing. Sort of ruins the enjoyment a bit. Very difficult here. Trap the robot behind the mines and make a difficult jump over the mines, and yeah, you can, yeah, that's one way of doing it. Or you can shoot it with the hooter to if you want to waste a donut. All right, moving on to the Amiga. It's the same as the ST version, and it's an ST port. It just has much improved and beefier sound effects and is much better for it. But again, it's still lacking a lot of the sound effects and music of the 8-bit versions, and it just feels a very I don't know, barren and hollow playing experience. It's lost a lot of its joy that the 8-bit versions has. Alright, choose the joystick here to push Charles and push that block and to the edge there. Alright, but there you go. That's all the ports and conversions. There is some homebrew ports, like there was a port to a homebrew port to the Atari Jaguar of all things, and then there's some modern sort of conversions. It's in the iOS store for the iPhone and iPad of all things. You can play it on Ant Stream currently. There was also kind of a remake of the game in 2003 for Windows, Linux and Mac by a team called Retrospec. Although, weirdly, it no longer appears on their website or has any mention there. Perhaps there was some copyright issue. There you go. Alright, whereabouts are we in Safari Land? Alright, yeah, move Charles the robot there. I kind of muck up a few times here, trying to jump out of the joystick thing. Right. Alright, yeah. Just kind of position Charles halfway in between things here, then just jump on Charles. Yeah, actually, what else can we talk about? I'm making a right hash of this, actually. Actually, that's better. Right, okay, we'll do the jump now. Every time we jump out, we're nudging it a little bit. I think that will do. Come on, Zypho. Yeah, this is not the fastest run of like head over heels ever, so apologies for that, guys. It's gonna crack on well over an hour long, but hey, finally we get out and we can drop the item we picked up and jump out of the exit for the west there. There you go. Notice how if you are carrying an object, you don't carry it through to the next room, by the way, if you've not already noticed that. What on earth is that character there? Or the elephant's nose. They've always seem to have got Dalek, sort of the base of a Dalek there. The BBC would sue these days, probably, but you could get away with it in like the mid-80s. Don't use the teleport there by accident, for God's sakes. Oh, we're not far off the end of the Safari world here. Oh, yeah, a bit of a tricky jump here. that last block will disintegrate. So you've got to turn and then jump off it. Oh, actually, it doesn't disintegrate. The sandwich will drop away. And you've got to jump across here, turn, and then jump, because that disintegrates. Make sure you're lined up in the middle there, so you can fall into the door there. Push through. And there's the crown. Right. There's a block that disintegrates here. So the first job is to push this block in the middle of it there. Because what you're going to do is, see that robot that's moving up and down? What you want to do is get that robot moving up and down on this walkway here. But you don't want that robot to fall into that disintegrating block and get stuck. So you do that task first, and you're going to use this block, that drum thing you picked up there, to push that robot across and onto that walkway. But not quite got it in the right place to use it to push. So you're going to get it right on the very, very, very edge there. And then push, 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 like that. Clever puzzle, this one. Alright. Really clever puzzle room, this one. There you go. Alright, now you got it moving up and down there. You're going to push the drum block on top of its head. And then you can jump on top of that. Now you've got enough height to use to have head jump from the top of heels, so you can jump onto that crown. Look at that. How many sprites are moving on top of each other at the moment? That's really clever programming, and that's really clever puzzle designing as well. That's a genius programming mind at work there with John Rittmond. And there you go. That's the Safari crown got. Brilliant. We're going to move on to Book World next. But we have to get out of Safari World first, and we'll take the teleporters back to... there was always a teleporter near the crown. That'll take us back to the moon base, and then we'll teleport to Book World next. Let's talk about magazine reviews. We always have a look for the magazine reviews at the time, and we always look for the Amstrad Action review. Amstrad Action was the main Amstrad magazine at the time, really. That's the one that all Amstrad fans really looked for. And this was reviewed in the May 1987 issue 20 of Amstrad Action magazine, and they, of course, absolutely loved it, awarding it their coveted Master Game status. That's their top award, praising the design, graphics, animation, humour, and pretty much everything, and only really marking it down for the lack of music throughout the game. Really, the only criticism they could find was the similarities to Rittmond and Drummond's earlier game Batman, but that is hardly a bad thing, really, and they admitted it as such. And they awarded the graphics 96%, Sonic's 68%, grab factor 95%, stain power 96%, with an overall AA rating of 95%. There you go. Here we are in Book Worlds, by the way. However, they re-reviewed it again in their July 1990 issue 58, when it came out on budget on the Hit Squad label, and gave it a bizarrely low score of, wait for it, 62%. No, I am not joking. They gave it 62%. Weirdly, in the review, it doesn't really slag off the game as such. Just makes reference to isometric adventure games being a bit old-fashioned, which is, I suppose, fair enough. In fact, it kind of praises the game, but yet it ends up with a stupidly low score of 62%. Well, it is a Trenton Webb reviewing the game. That name may be familiar to a few of you. He was probably my least favourite game reviewer at Amstrad Action of like all time. Yes, and most inconsistent reviewer. He was just bizarrely odd with his game reviews. I mean, Jesus, on the same page, I'll have to try and bring up a graphic on the screen here if I can fit it in. On the same page as this review, he gives bloody Slap Fight an extremely subpar port a higher score than Head Over Heels with 69%. I mean, Jesus wept. How on God's green earth does the Slap Fight conversion rate higher than Head Over Heels? Anyway, I think we'd just best ignore that. Bloody Trent and bloody Webb of Amstrad Action. How he remained at Amstrad Action reviewing games this long, I have no idea. Anyway, but yes, the first review at Amstrad Action, 95%. Yeah, that's that's a high score, but I think probably deservedly so. I'll talk more of my review later on. Let's talk about the book world here. Oh, these can be a little bit annoying because they've got random patterns they move in, but thankfully his head, you can jump over them fairly easily. And we can join up here. And off we trot. Going back the same way. Again, easily jump over them, joining together. Again, it should be an easy fish to get here. Okay, we don't really need to get the fishes in this long play, but we're going to get them anyway, just for sort of completion purposes. Popeye the Sailor Man music. Why not? Hey. If you see me just like stopping at the start of a room, I'm looking at a map and I'm looking at my notes, just thinking about what I'm going to be doing on the next room. I am following the walkthrough guide here, and I have got a map. There are maps available on the CPC Power website, but mostly the best maps and guides are available from the Spectrum Computing website. There's far more resources available from the Spectrum sites, to be honest with you. So thank you to the Spectrum Computing website, and especially, again, credits to the guide written by Philip Kendall. He has his own website. I mean, the full URL is quite long, actually. www.srcf.ucam.org/till PAK21/spectrum/index.html. I might put a link in the description. That's the link to his website where he has his full guide and solution to Head Over Heels. That is the most complete and best guide I found, which is what I've pretty much been following here for this walkthrough. So thank you very much for that. This was found from the spectrumcomputing.co.uk website. Oh, pretty much using the donut weapon there, the hooter and the donuts there for the first time. That robot is going to be a complete menace. Notice he remains frozen pretty much permanently here. It's gone off the screen there to bring heels in. So we can get those donuts. But we're also going to keep Head here for a while and use Heels to go here. Because we need to jump on these hush puppies, which will disappear if Head is on the screen. And there's like a little book there that you can actually push. There you go. And we can pick up the rabbit there. Come back this way and push the book that way, and that book can also be pushed. And that can be pushed on top of the book, the other book that we nudged. And then we can jump on top of it. And then we can get on top of the higher books there. Watch out though, there's a book that disintegrates. Oops, my mistake. So this is not a perfect walkthrough. I do make some mistakes in it. So yeah, this is not entirely perfect. So I've left some mistakes in here. There are more perfect long plays out there on YouTube by more expert players than me. Bring Head back in here now. Watch out, that toaster in front of it here. There is deadly. Could easily be mistaken there as a book you can jump on. Oops, mucking my jump up there. Not quite got the hang of it still yet, and you really do need to get the hang of it for Egyptus level. I'm having a little think here. Oh yeah, we've got some horrible jumps coming up soon as well. Oh. I think we've got some horrible jumps coming up shortly, actually, I think. Not too much of a big jump, but... Just wait for the robot to be out the way. Jump over. Ooh, the bunny gives us speed, which might make jumping over these landmines a little bit difficult. Because we've got to position ourselves in the right place, but we're okay. Hush puppies disappear there. There were hush puppies there because Head's there. No big deal. We're all right. Okay, and off we go. And there's a hidden Charles at the top there. Joysticks there. Right, push him east, and there's a spring we can push off. Actually, the book world is... I think book world is one of the easier worlds. Maybe you might want to start with book world first if you're new to the game, to be honest. I found it one of the easier ones, to be honest, yeah. Position Charles about there. And you could go collect the spring. And drop the spring, and you can bounce off Charles's head, the spring. Although I'm slightly off, need to be a bit more to the, I guess, the south. Oops. That should be about right. There you go. And this is one that's a simple case of piling the blocks up. I think you can avoid using the hooter and donuts, because once you're one block off the floor there, that robot can't get you. Oh, we've got so many donuts now. We've got 23 donuts. You could have used one maybe, but anyway, there we go. Maybe a difficult jump. Yeah, there we go. Just drop all the way down. And here we are in the room with the crown. Now you want to get that book there in the what's that, northwest corner? Get that book shoved in that northwest corner. And drop one of the blocks there, just on the edge there. Oops. Get the other block. It's just that these two robots are a little bit of a menace. It's actually a fairly easy crown to get. As I said, it's actually a fairly easy book world. And then head just wants to jump from heels there. Easy peasy, that one there. There you go. And we've got the crown for book worlds. Job done. We're really making progress now. Just the crown for Egyptus, and we can go on to Blacktooth. Wow, there we go. So just get to the teleporters, get to the moon base, and on to Egyptus. Do you know what, boys and girls? I think I'm going to start summing up a bit of my review. We talked about Amstrad Action reviews, and now it's time for my review. So you know what? I mean, I've never been particularly partial to isometric adventure games. I think a lot of you know that who've been following me for a while. I've often found them to be trying to be too clever for their own good. Either needlessly complex, overly hard, or requiring the player to spend hours mapping the game out by themselves, which, you know, on pen and paper, which I personally don't have the time for. Especially, can you imagine like 7, 8, 9-year-old kids having the time to do that? I mean, the programmers themselves were often, you know, maybe sometimes like the coders were probably 20-year-old guys or whatever, 25-year-old guys, sometimes 30-year-old guys, sometimes even as young as 16-year-old kids, but most coders were in their 20s and 30s maybe. But the games are aimed at most people buying games in the 80s were like quite young kids. And you can't expect kids to like be sat there drawing maps out. Maybe some kids were, but when I was like 8, 9 years old, the thought of like spending hours drawing maps out for isometric games just like no. Maybe some 8, 9-year-old kids did that, but that wasn't me. I wanted to have fun, you know. But hey. And that's what put me off a lot of these isometric games as a kid. You know. So I didn't have the time for it, and as an adult, I don't particularly have the time for it now either. And it's probably true that a bit that in the end, Head Over Heels probably also needs mapping out with its teleporters confusing matters. And Rittman's latter game, Monster Max on the Game Boy, did away with all that and just cut it down to pure action puzzle solving, which I enjoyed a lot more initially, and I had that on the Game Boy. However, Head Over Heels has more depth and longevity because of the more depth to its levels and its need to map out things. So I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit. And perhaps because of its like confusing layout, it has more mystery to it. So I can see both sides of the argument. It's got, how many screens does this have? About 300, maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Here. I don't think it's that complex a game to be mapped out. Perhaps it perhaps wouldn't take you that long to map out. I don't know. Compared to some games, so I perhaps won't be too harsh on it. But yeah. But yes, that's what I didn't like about isometric games back in the day. Essentially, I found them needlessly complex or overly hard. Head Over Heels, I like. And it's from the golden age of video games, and a time we'll never see again. And it's the last game, the true pinnacle and the best of the isometric adventure action games, never to be beaten. Some may argue Get Dexter and others from the Ultimate Play the Game series run it close, but nah, none of them grab this cynic of the genre like this one, and has made me see it to the end. And here we are with a finished long play video, and truth be told, I loved it and I'm proud I've done it, and I'd do it all again. I'm almost sad I've done it, and would I change anything about this game? Maybe adding an in-game map system to show visited rooms like Spin Dizzy had or something. But that's probably well beyond the limits of available memory of the system, given how much this game's probably taken up of the memory. I don't know. Other than that, I kind of concur with Amstrad Action's original score. It can have 9.5 out of 10, or a 95% score. So there you go. That's my score. 95%. A true classic. And it's not for everyone, I get it, but I recognise a masterpiece of game design when I see it. There you go. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys and girls. What would you score this game? And do you agree with my thoughts and feelings here? And as I make a complete mess of this room here. So yeah, I've left in mistakes. I've not edited them out or anything like that. I'm making a bit of a mistake here. You have to sort of run and jump across that section in the middle there. And that's an awkward block there because it just disintegrates, and you have to sort of very quickly turn and jump off it. And you have to turn and jump right off the very edge of that block. And there's a nice set of spikes right underneath it there as well. Lovely. And another disintegrating block. Luckily, I remembered it last second. That was bloody horrible. Just get this block pushed onto the dog there. Robot dog. And you can jump on top of it and get across the gap. Nice little Egyptian ditty now on this level. And we're really close to the end now, of course, as well. Some awkward little jumps coming up now. You've really got to have mastered your jumping skills. Awkward little jump here. Do you want to do a big jump or a little jump or step on? It's hard to tell. So just do a little jump from the back edge of the platform. Which block's going to disappear here? That first one. Swap over to head. Alright, we've got a Charles robot and the joysticks. You want to push him onto the lift and get him to push off the sandwich. So you can then push it to the north door so you can jump on the sandwich. Or actually you want to push, sorry, Charles onto the sandwich so you can push the sandwich with Charles on it. To the door, and you can just basically nudge Charles a little bit. You can jump onto the sandwich, then onto Charles, and then out you go. Yeah. You got used to this by now. There you go, fish to get there. I'll take the teleporter back. And now comes fun with horrible jumps. I'm going to make a little bit of a hash of things here. Sorry, guys. So there may be a little bit of few mistakes here, but you know, it's all here and I'm keeping it in. It's not a perfect run. I think I'll do this without losing a life though. But this is a run from someone relatively new to the game. Right, I'll get it right there eventually. Okay, right on the edge of the platform there. You see how infuriating this can be. But warts and all, I've kept it in. Alright, now we're going to sort of do that loopy jumpy round bit. There we go, finally did it. Yay! But this will be the horrible bit over. We're about, should be, after this, in this next room, we should be joining up with... There we go, joining up with Tails. Fantastic. Oh, thank heavens for that. We're getting really close now. There's a bunny there if you want to get it. It's a tough one to get. The block will disintegrate here. We're going to turn and jump very quickly. 2 bonus lives there for both head and heels. Why not? Ah, yes, worth getting this bunny here. I think this will give us either, yeah, invulnerability on a timer. And this one will give us a speed boost as well. Oh no, sorry, bonus lives. 2 bonus lives, sorry. Avoid the dead fish. Okay. We separate here. I think we're not too. Right. Yeah. Okay. There's a fish. There is a fish to get here. We don't have to get it, but like it's not a hard one to get. We'll just donut the robot there. But it's quite an easy one. It's a fun one to get anyway. Let's position head there, and we can use heels to knock the ball across there. The crystal ball. Look at that. There you go. Another puzzle solved. Yay! Ooh, this one could be a little bit tricky. Be careful. Those toasters at the roof there, we call them the toasters. They look like a double toaster thing. They're lethal. So if you jump and hit your head on them, you'll lose a life. That's a difficult jump there. Position there very carefully. Just look at the markings on the floor and make sure where your feet are aligned in them. So I'm just using how I'm picking up the thing there to push myself up. So I'm not jumping, I'm just dropping it to push myself up one whole block. Do you see what I mean there? So I'm not jumping, I'm just using the pick up and drop to push myself up. So I'm not jumping when I'm heels there. Tricky room that. It looks easier than it seems. That needed a bit of careful thinking and planning. Jump in there just in case there's any blocks that disintegrate. When you jump out this room, immediately jump and then jump again. These blocks all disintegrate. Evil. Right, I think we're near the crown room. Got a teleporter there, if I remember correctly. God, my memory's fading me. Must be, there's a big teleporter there. So we're very near the crown room. Yes, there's the crown. I'm just using head to donut the two robots there. Bring the heels in. Oh, this one's dead easy to get. So to get a head up onto the first level, we'll just push the block down, and then we'll just join up. We'll stand. We'll stand on the block. We'll jump and we'll just jump and carry the block. Drop the block, and then head. We'll just jump up to get the crown. Easy peasy. Actually, that was really easy crown room there, that one. We now have all 4 crowns from the four worlds. We can now tackle the Black Tooth and the Black Tooth Emperor. Now, there's a Guardian before the Black Tooth crown room and the Emperor. And with all 4 crowns, the Guardian for that room will basically, if you didn't have all 4 crowns, the Guardian will just sort of like home in on you and just immediately kill you. He now runs off scared. He's like a bubbly, donutty type object thing. So if you try to go there before you've got all 4 crowns, he'll just immediately home in and kill you. Now he runs off scared. You'll see what I mean when we go there. But finally, we can now go get it and then escape to freedom. Well, we first have to separate. Send in heels first onto the hush puppies, which don't like head, if you remember correctly from before. Careful not to touch those things at the side there, they're lethal. I'll just use the teleporter here. Just take the spring down there. And then go back over to head here. Off the moon base onto Blacktooth. Jump over the robot dog here. And then we can at last bring them back together again. And of course, Heels has the spring in his bag for both of them to use. Oh, sorry, I'm not joining them up properly together. And they can both get the spring and go out the north door. Heels can jump off head there, and then jump back up together again. You can't see it there. There's actually some mines there. You just have to sort of guess. Unfortunately, you can't rotate the screen around an axis there. There's actually 2 mines there below. Yeah. You sort of guess they would be there because it'd be sort of symmetrical to the ones at the bottom left corner of the screen there. Drop a block on head's head there, and you can sort of jump and nudge it onto the top of the mines in the middle of the screen there. Be very careful not to actually push head onto the mines. Nearly screwed it up there actually. There, that should be good. Move heels out the way, and hopefully if you switch over to head, move it, there you go. Should leave hopefully that block on the mines. Should be able to jump onto that block if you're careful, and you can use it to jump in onto the floating door there. Oh, this room. Oh, I quite hate this room a lot actually. Now there's a little gap you can explode there. What you want to do is push this block that's at the top of that wall down to where head is. So you got to do this awkward jump where you sort of jump around, loop around, and push it to the west. But you don't want to push it too far to the south. So see how it's sort of jutting not all the way to the south, that block. It's hard to explain. How can I explain this? Anyway, just take my word for it. Okay. All right, we managed to get over there. So let's just do that. Just do that. Turn to the north and jump across. You need to be able to pick up this block. So you need to jump and pick up the button at the same time. Turn there. That block doesn't disintegrate here. So you just need to know that you have to do that. So some of these rooms, I think you need sort of prior knowledge that that's going to happen. You may be able to guess that that happens, but hey, you need to donut to the monkey Dalek there. This room almost feels like a crown room, given how complex the puzzle is here. Ooh, this is a tough one. So you need to be able to get to the south door here, the floating south door. Yeah, this is an interesting puzzle. So you notice you've got the column there, and there's kind of a sort of hollowed out gap in the middle there. Kind of the goal here is to try and get a block sort of jutting out that middle bit of the column. So how do we achieve that? Well, we've kind of got a heel sort of sticking out now, with his bum sticking out. So that's a start. So we're going to try and sort of replace that. Well, let's get the block down from the very, very top. Let's get to that first of all. So there you go. We got to that. Let's knock it off. Now the next thing to do is to figure out how to get the a block in the middle there. So we're probably going to get one balanced on someone's head and pushed into that middle section that's sort of hollowed out in the column. So let's drop it on head's head. And then maybe walk him about, and maybe hopefully we'll be able to sort of get it stuck in there somehow. There you go. Fortunately, we probably froze that monkey Dalek robot thing in the wrong place. He's sort of in a bit of an awkward position. He's going to be a bit of a hindrance a little bit. Ah, not quite in there. There you go. That's exactly where it sort of needs to be. That's good. Let's join them up. Now we're there. Now we get both head and heels. We're doing a jump and pick up at the same time. We just need to be a little bit sort of further south when we do that. Perfect. There you go. Yay, we figured it out and we made it. There's the Guardian before the throne room. And he's ran away from us, as I mentioned earlier. He's scared of us. And here we are, the Emperor in the throne room. First of all, let's just disable that robot that's running around. That is the Blacktooth Emperor. We have made it. I've no idea why the Emperor looks like a donut. He's chasing us, and we've just shot him with a donut, and we've disabled him. And that's the throne room. Essentially, this is the end of the game, and the crown is hidden underneath the throne. It looks a bit unspectacular, but this is it. Hey, we've done it. The people salute your heroism and proclaim you Emperor. Not the most spectacular final room, but we got more to come up though, guys and girls, so do watch on. We do have other ending screens because we've got to escape to freedom. And there you go, that is all the crowns of the Blacktooth Empire. So, we've now become Emperor, and apparently, I think we should become completely invulnerable, apparently. So that's fantastic news. Not sure I want to test that out completely. I don't know if that's true or not. So yeah, now we have to escape to freedom, and our adoring fans. See the cowardly guardian there. So let's escape to freedom and complete the game fully, and see what happens. Oh, I've still got to escape this bloody room though, which is annoying. It's a shame the actual Emperor was a little bit disappointing there. He was just like an actual sort of donut thing. The same basically sprite and animation as the donut we fire out. But hey, there we go. I guess there wasn't much room left in the memory for more sprites of stuff. Or maybe they thought most players wouldn't get this far. Alright, okay. I'm still avoiding stuff just in case, like I'm playing the game properly. But I think I am invulnerable. I think I am. I wasn't sure, just in case. So you want to do, just push this block aside, and it should release another block that releases a lift. And that should, I think, take us to a teleporter. There is a fish you can go and get if you really want to, but like, do you know what? At this point, I don't care. Do we really need it? We don't, so I'm not bothering. Some mines to jump over. Be careful, but I think you land on the robot's head. It doesn't kill you, so meh, off we go. Might as well just donut the robot there. Don't care. You want to just dropping the Charles robot down just right, because you need to jump on the Charles robot. You want to jump in so he lands on the edge of that platform there. So you want to jump on the Charles robot's head, jump out the west door there. I can't see where head is to jump on him, so we need to join up together. Right, okay. And we're about like 2 screens away, I think, from the final room. So close to the end now. Question for the comments: is this the best isometric action adventure game of all time, then, boys and girls? Do we think so? Is Get Dexter better? Is that the best game? Get Dexter 2, is that even better? I don't know. Is it or is it a ultimate play the game? The winner. Interesting. We'll send them through separately here. This is basically the final puzzle screen. Well, puzzle screen or difficult screen or whatever. Last one to get through. Right, now it's head's turn. Just some difficult jumping here. Alright, these platforms disintegrate, you've got to turn very quickly. That was quite difficult to do. Here we go. Basically, we have done it. Are you ready, boys and girls, for the ending? Here we go. As we escape to freedom. Here's the ending of Head Over Heels. Freedom! Oh, they're launching a cannon at us. I think in celebration and honour. We'll fire a donut back at them. I think that's all you can do. You can't move about. Have a donut. Oh, there's lots of other heads and heels there. There you go, boys and girls. That is Head Over Heels completed. And the ending screen. And freedom. And fully completed with all the crowns. Wow, can't believe I did it. After all these years, I've finally done it. Head Over Heels on the Amstrad. Emperor score 95,020 points. Explored 270 rooms and liberated 5 planets. Well, there you go. Head Over Heels by John Rittman and Bernie Drummond. 9.5 out of 10 from me, a 95% score. What would you give this game? Let me know in the comments below. I really enjoyed doing that. So thank you, Velo, for making me do this one. And I really hope you enjoyed this one. Merry Christmas from me if you're watching this on the when this was released on my channel. And I'm really glad to have done this one, boys and girls. Thank you very much. Please consider supporting me on Patreon and joining the Am Squad if you enjoy my content. And don't forget to hit the like and thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And leave us your thoughts and stuff in a comment below. And please, if you can, share the video where you can on social media and whatever. I do appreciate that. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all again very soon with more Amstrad, maybe some other retro content, long plays and reviews on the channel. Thanks very much, cheers, and goodbye. Bye. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click a like below, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you haven't already. And over that way, there's another video for you to check out. Zypho out.